Hi, I'm Lisa Campbell, Director of the Berrie Center for the Arts. Welcome to another episode of Bringing Home Berrie. Today, we launch the second video in a three-part conversation led by Professor Ann LePore. She speaks with alumni of Ramapo's Contemporary Arts program who took an interest in animation.
Hey everybody, this is Ann LePore. I'm the convener of visual arts at Ramapo College of New Jersey, and I'm here with Jillian DiBlasio. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
And I am here with alumni Rachael Viscusi. Hi Rachel,
Hey.
Thank you for joining us today.
Of course.
Today I'm here with Vanessa Nilsson. Hi Vanessa.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Ann.
When did you graduate?
May 2014.
I was actually trying to remember what year I graduated. I think it's 2013. I'm not sure.
What is your job title now? What are you doing? Tell me what's happening.
I'm currently a video editor at BuzzFeed.
Right now, I have 3 different jobs. My main job is I work for a company called Equipment Zone in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, and I manage their creative department. So I do web design work, graphic work, video animation, editing, and then I also work at Montclair State University, and I teach the senior thesis class there. Next semester, I will be at William Patterson University teaching cell design.
I'm actually an associate creative director at Digitas Health, which is a pharmaceutical advertising company. Think about a director on a film, but apply that to design and any type of project that they ask you for, whether it's a banner ad, a brochure, or a website. We have to be in control and oversee all of that work as a creative lead.
For a lot of students, there's a tremendous amount of fear right when they graduate. Like that milestone was so huge and looming, and as soon as they reach it, everything on the other side is absolutely terrifying. How did you navigate that? What was your time after you graduated? How did you start to negotiate life after college?
It was straight panic at one point. One thing that I realized, you can't be afraid to apply to jobs. I know some people get that fear in them applying to jobs. And so I got to the point where I was just applying to everything and anything. I didn't even care if I met one requirement, none, or all of them. If I liked it, I was doing it. I was applying. And I interviewed with a lot of people, and some went bad. And it's okay if interviews go bad because they're all learning experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And some interviews went great, but still didn't work out, and that's okay. It's gonna be like this, up and down, and then eventually you'll find your groove.
Don't ever limit or narrow your thinking as to what you want. There's a lot of different jobs that I didn't know I could have when I was in college. So I would say allow the opportunities to present themselves and do some research as to where and again what you want to do for the rest of your life is it's never concrete or finite. The opportunities keep rolling, and I said, I still don't know what I want to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I just never want to be bored. I want to keep going.
Was there one assignment in any of your classes, no matter what kind of class, one assignment that stands out for you?
One assignment that stands out for me was probably my senior thesis film for senior year, basically because my story involved directing a bunch of children, one of them including my sister. I feel like that was just the epitome of my career at Ramapo, was having not just my sister in the film, but my sister and a bunch of her classmates on a field at the back of the elementary school. Basically the climactic moment of my student film, where my protagonist comes to realize that she would rather have her imaginary stuffed bunny as her best friend as opposed to a bunch of bullies at her school.
Nia, I thought you left me. I know, I'm sorry. Don't ever do that again. I won't, I promise.
Oh God. Okay. Well, so there are two. I do have two. Which one do you remember?
The bar one?
It was olives and grapes, kind of. Were they even fighting? I had to rewatch it because I just found the file.
They went into like a bar and there was a whole showdown and
Yeah, and
Yeah.
The grapes took out the olives. It was a whole like martini wine kind of.
Mhm. Cocktail versus wine.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, that was so funny. I mean, it was so funny to make that. There's an advice you always said in one of the classes that I use in my classes today.
What?
It was like, don't animate something that you could film. And that always kind of stuck with me because that's the whole beauty of animation is you can really create and animate anything.
Mhm.
And that's like how I got olives and wines and grape.
I remember we had to brand ourselves. Like, we had to come up with our brand identity and how we wanted to be represented as designers, whether it was our resume, our portfolio, website, business card, definitely all those. I remember a lot of assignments, actually. I did a lot of motion graphics projects. I remember tracking was so time consuming and so nitty gritty that I realized I might not want to go down that field. and as same with animation too, like that was so particular and I loved it, but I realized I didn't think that I wanted to do it every day for the rest of my life. I remember our first website assignment was to make the worst website you possibly could. And so we did all these like flashing GIFs and clashing colors, illegible type. That was kind of comical. I think it helped though. I mean, you
What not to do.
Exactly. You come to realize what is gross design.
What was your first job after school?
Health Monitor Network. I did their graphic design, web design, and animation videos for like describing like health conditions like diabetes and stuff like that. So I worked with them for about, I would say, a year full time, and then I went back for my master's and I was freelancing with them.
A lot of weird jobs. My career path was like the weirdest path you could ever take, I feel. So I started off as a PhotoPass photographer at Disneyland because I did the Disney College program. I worked at a department store. And then I was a video editor / counselor at a summer camp. And then from there, I was a production assistant for a prosthetic makeup company. Then I worked at MVC as a media prep technician. And then from there, I was finally a video editor again at Walt Disney World Parks and Resorts. Then I worked at Spotify as a digital asset manager. And now I'm an editor again.
Well, I have only worked at 2 agencies since I graduated in this field, but that doesn't mean I didn't interview other places. I will say when the recruiter did come to me, this is nothing I had in mind.
And a recruiter came to you at the college or after you graduated?
Yeah, he graduated from Ramapo, so he was an alum that came to a career fair, and he basically was like, this is one of those jobs that no one has ever heard of at our level, at our school. Like, it's a super niche field, but that intrigued me. I looked up what they do and asked a million questions and didn't let the fact that I didn't understand what they did hinder my decision.
What was something that happened to you in college that you feel like did prepare you for where you are now?
I would say what probably prepared me the best was my senior thesis film class, just because there were so many moving parts, and you like learning about all the different parts kind of helps you prepare for when you're dealing with other people and like having to be a team with other people. Like, you kind of you understand the struggles that they're going through because you had to go through it. Learning graphic design was super helpful for me in my career because a lot of digital editing, they want you to know at least a basic understanding of graphic design.
I remember that when you were in school, You had some amazing animations and you also went to SeaGraph. What was it like to be a SeaGraph student volunteer?
The volunteering is pretty simple. And then the cool thing is like when you're done with your shift, you got to explore any part of the convention that you wanted to. And then there's also a bunch of after parties that you got to go to. I went to the Pixar Renderman party, which was pretty cool because you basically got to talk to a bunch of people that work at Pixar.
Make some good connections there.
Yeah. They also have, for the volunteers only, they have special panels where they'll invite like guests that are already at the convention to come and just talk to the volunteers. So the director of the short, The Blue Umbrella, came and talked to us. We also had a panel of different employees from Disney come that just came and just talked to us. And like the good thing is once when the panel is over, that you also have time to talk to them one-on-one.
I was really happy with the amount of opportunities I had at Ramapo. I learned web design, I learned motion graphics, print, typography. We did like super gadgety computer stuff with you. It was really amazing to broaden those horizons. I love typography now. It's like one of my favorite things. But in order to be fully versed in design, you have to know all the aspects and know what you do and don't like. Ramapo kind of gave us all the tools, no matter what type of design field or industry we were going to go into. I feel like I had a knowledge of almost every angle of it, which was really incredible. This job is the perfect blend of art and science, and it makes science and knowledge beautiful. And I never thought I'd be there, but I will say I've had to dabble in UX, in digital capabilities, in typography and color theory and branding. It all kind of comes together. It's just not at once, right? Like jobs and specific projects last a pretty long time in the real world, which is not like semester long. So things are always moving and rolling, and you never know when you're going to need something from the back of your brain from those 4 years at Ramapo.
Is there anything that you've worked on recently that you would want to share with us?
My thesis that I did for my MFA, that was about a year ago. That piece is a 4-minute 3D animation, and it has to do with deal with global warming and its causes and effects of it. And I tried to introduce it in because obviously it's a huge topic that you can't cover that in a 4-minute animation. But it was more trying to get the cause and effects of it in a very short clip while creating these little worlds in like a scientific way, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
it's set in the laboratory, and it's like a science experiment.
We launched a breast cancer treatment that is no longer an infusion. It's a 5-minute injection. And we have 2 websites for patients and for doctors. I'm starting to nerd out on all of this stuff. Like, I really enjoy learning about the science and how things help people and getting them access to everything. But in this landscape, in this current climate, they were pushing to have the treatment not in a center or a hospital because of how your immune system is wrecked after all of this treatment. So it'll be a much safer option, a much quicker option, but...
And so you worked on the website part of this?
So those 2 sites, I had a hand in guiding both of those. I'm starting to move to a level in my career where I'm guiding the people designing them, which is a really tough challenge for me, to sort of give direction, which I know how you guys feel now, trying to tell students how to shape their creative.
Probably one of the best things that I got to work on is BuzzFeed Unsolved. So I'm an editor at BuzzFeed, and my primary projects involve working on series, which includes stuff like Hair Flick, Edible History, and BuzzFeed Unsolved. My primary job is once when the talent is done filming, I basically get all the footage and usually some kind of rough script on like where they kind of want things to go. And I basically follow the script, but I also look for, you know, funny moments and scary moments, anything that I feel is going to get the story across best. From there, I send my cuts in, the producers and talent will look at it, tell me what they like, what they don't like, and it's just basically a back and forth process until the show goes up online.
What words of advice do you have for young people who are either like just starting out in college or they're trying to decide even if they want to do creative things in college or if they want to do something else? Like, what would you tell them?
I would say absorb it all. People look down upon watching Netflix and movies all day long, but honestly, absorbing everything that's around you, whether it's, you know, scrolling through Instagram of amazing designer pages, watching shows. I know we can't go to museums now, but there's online, you know, viewings of stuff, reading books. I devour books. Letting it all soak in, especially so that you know what good design looks like and you know how good creative makes you feel. If that's something that you want to reflect onto people, definitely go into a creative field. I'd like young creatives to know that there's a way to use your talents to do, like, to not even make a living, but to help others and to really make a difference.
I would tell them to participate in everything and anything, whether it's clubs or even intramurals, anything. You don't know who you're going to meet. And you don't know where along the way you might work with this person when you're out of school.
I mean, I think the most important thing for anybody in like an entertainment sort of industry is to build connections. Everybody tells you in college how networking is super important, and it's true.
Why do you think that is? Can you explain that?
I think the reason why networking is so important is because like there's a sort of a safety net in hiring somebody that you know, because you're thinking, oh, I know this person, so they must be good. There is a lot of nepotism in the entertainment industry. If somebody that you know is a good worker and they're telling you that this person is a good worker, then they must be a good worker kind of thing.
So some type of verification.
Yeah.
The art world's small. You're gonna find people who you either know or people who know who you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates a comfort level. All those studios, they all know each other.
Everybody knows each other. Everybody kind of cycles through, you know, because the studios will balloon. They'll have like 300 employees on a project. And then when the project ends, they'll have their core group of like 30. Everybody knows like what's the good studio to work for and who do they not want to work for or with, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When the chips are down and things are stressful, who do you want to be in a room with for 17 hours straight?
When you go into a company, pay attention to their leadership. If their leadership teams are diverse, there's a good chance that they will help you in your career development. And if their leadership team isn't as diverse, you might have a problem.
What would you say to sort of naysayers, people who don't see any value in, oh, well, you know, artists are supposed to starve and, you know, creativity doesn't put food on the table? What would you say to that?
Oh, I beg to differ. I think creativity in art not only changes the world, but it reflects the world back to you. So everything that's happening between telling people to wear a mask, Black Lives Matter, my body, my choice, everything comes down to things that you see and read. Some people choose the news route, but there are plenty of opportunities and plenty of excellent work out there that is informative and is teaching people to change their minds.
Yeah.
That's where we get our information. That's where we get our greatest emotions. I mean, how many times have you cried at a movie or laughed or just smiled and glowed on the inside? Art makes the world go round.
Thank you to Ann LePore for leading this conversation. Look for the third video coming soon. Thanks for watching.